Today I'm going to brief you about solid principles. There are so many videos over the internet who are teaching you how to write the code to achieve all the concepts and how we are implementing this in our application. So the question is, why I am again doing the same thing? Okay, the answer is, I'm not here to going to engage you with the coding architecture, and I'm not here to give a trick or tip how we are going to learn these principles and memorize it. I'm just here to tell you what and how, what exactly these principles are doing, and how we are achieving these things in our application. Okay, so solid principle, as the definition says, solid principles are the set of five designing principles, when followed, help developers create more maintainable, flexible, scalable software. These principles were introduced by Robert C. Martin and are widely used in object oriented programming. What does it mean? It helps us to avoid rewrite the code, to move unwanted dependencies, to make code more scalable and flexible, to perform unit tests easily, to achieve loosely coupled architecture, and so on. Okay, as the definition says, it's a set of five designing principles. What all are that? SOLID. S for single responsibility principle. O open close principle. L scope substitution principle, LSP, very important. I interface segregation principle, ISP. D dependency inversion principle, DIP. Okay, these are the five principles which comes under solid principle. Let's start with single responsibility principle. As definition says, a class should have only one reason to change, meaning that it should have only one responsibility or job. This principle encourages to create classes that are focused on a specific task or functionality. For example, let's assume we have a project school, and school have three entities: teachers, student, and one more is books for the libraries. Okay, so it is good to create three different classes, so it is focused on a particular entity, like for student, student class, teacher, teacher class, and book for books. And inside the student, only student detail should be there, and that class have only responsibility for student details and data. So if the changes asks to perform anything under student related data, then only student class should be modified or changed. This is the only thing what these principles are saying. Only one responsibility: student class have responsibilities for student, teachers only for teachers, and book for books. Okay, and how we are going to achieve this thing? It is good to create different classes for different functionalities or entities. Okay, the next one is open close principle, OCP. What is its definition? Software entities, classes, module, function should be open for extension but closed for modification. I hope you all guys knows this extension methods. What all are the extension methods? Means the methods which we are adopting in our existing classes. Okay, so in other words, you should be able to add new functionalities without altering existing code. What we are doing when we are using extension method, we are creating new classes, and then we are inheriting that class in our application, and then we are using new module or new functionalities with the help of existing classes. Okay, so this is often achieved through the using of interface abstract classes and Design pattern like a strategy pattern. What and how? Open for extension but closed for modification. How? With the help of abstraction and interfaces, with the help of inheritance and polymorphism. Polymorphism allow us to override the methods from like child class, and if the relationship is there like parent and child, then we can override the virtual methods in our child class. Okay, so this is the main concept behind this principle. The third one is list scope substitution principle, LSP, which is very important. And the definition is objects of the superclass. Superclass means parent class should be replaceable with the object of subclass. Subclass means child class or derived class without affecting the correctness of the program. It means it is not going to break the chain of our program. Okay, this applies that a derived class should extend the base class without changing the behavior. Okay, what the derived class should be able to substitute the base class without altering the behavior of program. Okay, and how? Careful design the inheritance hierarchy. In LSP, inheritance is the main thing which we have to focus. How we are inheriting the parent class in the child class. Okay, ensuring that derived class can be used interchangeably with their base classes without causing unexpected behavior or violating contract. Violating contract means breaking the behavior or breaking the chain how it was working. For LSP, I have one screenshot which help us to understand this thing little bit more easily. See, here is our uh, parent class apple and the child class is orange. In the class orange, we are overriding the get color, returning orange because orange always the color is orange. Okay, apple returning red. So when we are creating the object of class apple in our main method, we are calling get color. Apple dot get color, it will return red. Okay, but inside the class orange, which is our child class, we have override the method. Okay, when we are going to call this orange class in main method, that time if we will call the get color, then it will return the orange. Okay, and it is not violating any contract or any functionality. Okay, hope you guys understand this. The next one is interface segregation principle, ISP. ISP actually it's it is working on interfaces. And what is inside this principle? A client should not be forced to depend on interface it does not use. In other words, it's better to have several small specific interfaces rather than a large or general one. Okay, it helps us to avoid unnecessary dependencies. What means not to force to depend on interface it does not use. Okay, and how? Define specific interfaces rather than single large interfaces with many methods. Okay, like if we are creating one interface like a general interface, there will be so many methods we have to declare. But when we are going to inherit that interface in our classes, we are not going to force that particular client or child class to implement all the methods whether they are going to use that one or not. Okay, so it is good to break down, segregate our interface into small pieces and override and sorry and inherit only the required one. Okay, what and how. The last one is dependency inversion principles. What is its definition? High level module does not depend on low level module. Both should be depend upon abstraction. Abstraction should not depend upon details. Details should depend upon abstraction. This principle promote the use of abstractions. Abstractions. How we are achieving the abstractions? It is also a very important question. Okay, and when we are going to achieve the abstraction, it means with the help of interface and abstract classes. Okay, and to decouple high level and low level module, reduce the impact of changes in one on the other. What? To create a more modular and loosely coupled architecture. Okay, this is the only aim of this particular principle, to create a more modular and loosely coupled architecture. How we are going to achieve this? Define abstraction with the help of interface and abstract classes. Implement high level module to depend on abstraction. Okay, use dependency injections. Yes, dependency injection, this is also very important question, but I'm not going to cover this one in this lecture. I will try to create one more video on dependency injections. Okay, so dependency inversion principle help us to create a loosely coupled architecture. How? We are going to create the interfaces or abstract classes which are directly communicating with our uh, child classes or derived classes, and this interface is going to communicate with our high level modules. Okay, like we are injecting our dependency injections in controller. Okay, so it is not directly communicating with that particular class, it is communicating with the interfaces and getting all the updated things from the interface and implemented in the controller. So these all are the five principles which I have explained here. I hope you guys are getting these things in a very simple and very practical manners. And what and how is the main thing what interview want to listen from your side. So please be prepared for these two questions whenever any interviewer asking questions on these topics. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Okay, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.